We have here on the floor the 326 components of my bicycle. And now, all I have to do is stick it back together and give everything a good clean. It's not entirely correct that everything's completely taken to bits, because there's things like this, which have rivets in them, which I can't really take apart, and things like this, which I'm too scared to take apart, and they work, so they don't need taken to bits. I shall begin, I think, with the wheels. There's a hub, two bearings, let's just call them hubcaps, two retaining bolts, or screws. That's a very complicated discussion. Is it a bolt or a screw? Nobody knows. And then a spoke. To start with, you stick your bearing in here. The bearing is a wee bit crusty, shall we say, but I'm not too bothered. I don't know what size that is. Let's go with 16. Let's see if I'm right. Nah, it's 17. Put that through, and then what you have to do is you have to stick the other bearing in over the top. But the way to stick a nipple in is you thread it on the end, feed it through the hole, feed it in like that, and then it'll pop out there. Then you unscrew it, and then you can screw the nipple into the spoke the right way around. This slips on here, same on the other side. That's it. That's it. Aye, right enough. That's it. Interestingly, spoked wheels have been around since Egyptian times. And when the Egyptians first put it on their chariots, supposedly it was a big power and speed upgrade. Like a sort of power-up sort of situation, which is kind of cute. Right, tyre. Time for a tyre. Some people like to line up the logo with the valve stem, which means you get this part in line with that. But I don't care, because I'm quite a strong, independent young man. Oh. That's just broken. Good job it was free. That is a complete wheel, apart from the quick release skewer. That is a rotated wheel. I'll do the same with the quick release skewer for this wheel. This is our completed wheel section. And this is the components that we have remaining. What would probably be good is to reassemble the frame and screw the things that I can back into it. And then this is a barrel adjuster. So when I was taking this apart earlier, see what's happened there? No, you can't. Yes, you can see that there. Basically that snapped off because that had seized in there, so I'm going to have to drill that out at some point. So what I'm going to do before I put this in is I'm going to put grease in it. Feeling good? You know what? I'm going to need a pair of pliers. I'll put the bottle cages on. This is a plastic bottle cage. This is another plastic bottle cage. And then this lowers the bottle cage by 35 millimeters, which is good if you're tall, like myself. This is some bolts, and these are definitely bolts as opposed to screws. And that is all I need for now. And lower it. Definitely not 100% happy bicycle, the amount of dirt that's got inside there. Also, you can see this aluminium oxide. Some polished aluminium there from the tyre. There's a similar situation in there. It's just kind of an unloved bike, this. Earlier, I had to hammer out the lower bearing here, so I need to buy a new one. It was dust. The top one was still there, but it was completely dust. That's good. Oh, also, please subscribe, because I have the ambition of reassembling things, which is obviously the pretense of what I'm doing, reassembling various things all the way up until either a jet engine or a house. I can't decide which would be more interesting. Yeah, that was quite arrogant. Anyway, moving on. Let's put this back. Thingamajiggy. Situation. Okay, so we have bottle cages, barrel adjuster. Let's do... Need that. Need that. And then what we want is these. No, do I? Okay. I think we'll put some grease on there. That's it. Is it? No. What? This is what we have left. Let's stick this in. Okay, so this is the bottom bracket. It's a bearing. You have a left and right side, and it sits over this thing. Now, let's pop the front derailleur on. So, I need that. And then these are limit screws. So what they do is they go into these holes at the top, and they stop the side-to-side movement when it's shifting gears around from being too much. So, fun fact, these screws, very common on Shimano components, are a specific Japanese standard, and basically nobody owns the screw apart from people who are able to spend money on specific tools. This is therefore, people just use like a flathead screwdriver, but usually it just rounds it out, so you kind of gotta be careful. That looks pretty straight. Nailed it, I think. So these are the components we have left. Rightio. That looks good. That looks, oh yes. And give it a spin and say to yourself, good job. Amazing. The cranks, the chain rings, and all the accoutrements. Give it a bop. That's good. Okay, and then that's a compression thingamajig. So you want lots of compression, because compression is good. Let's stick the bolts. Right, that's done. So, what have we got going on? Let's do the saddle. Handlebars, I think, is what I'm going to do next. So, what we need is thus. So, this is parts of the bung. So, now we need the rest of the bars. That's the top of the bearings. That's the top bearing. So we're talking about the bottom bearing, how it's turned to dust. That's the top cap. That's part of the stem, which attaches it to this. That's the handlebars. And these are all the relevant bolts. And then I need all these bolts. Those two slightly longer ones go here, and the four slightly shorter ones go here. Handlebars. And then we'll slide the fork in and chuck on the top cap. Next up, let's do the shifters. So, we've got these two rubbery bits. Who knows what that is? Let's see. Oh, I don't know, I just don't know. Excuse me, that was a bit disgusting. No, that's not that well. Not sure what that does, but it definitely looks correct. You might be wondering why on earth I'm doing this. partly because it's needing a bit of maintenance, because it's had a rough winter, this bike, but also it's actually quite fun. It's the sort of thing I always have done anyway. Usually on the pretense of fixing things, usually not actually fixing things at all and just making it worse. But it's the feeling that counts, maybe. You can see where it's corroded from previous times, so we'll just stick it right where it was. I think the brakes will be a less frustrating job, so let's do that first. Let's chuck that in here. This takes a long time, building a bike again. So a problem I was having before I did this was that when you squeezed the brake, it would just stay shut, so it would stay on. And hopefully that'll work at the traffic lights. I'd also like to reassemble a car. That'd be quite fun. But here goes. So this is the rear. So that's the rear. Oh, that's the rear here. It has been fixed. A bolt was too tight. Okay, so now I want to align the brake pads with the wheels. What you need is a bank card, or in my case, a gym card, and you pop it here and you clamp it up. But I'm not going to do that right now because I don't have cables in the bike, so we'll just sort of do a rough job. Hopefully the amount of grease that I got on this is enough for at least another winter. I would be surprised if one day lots of the components in this bike need binned, just because it is so corroded, a lot of it. It doesn't help that my hands have about as much grease as you need to run a ship. Good. That's it. Okay, so I've forgotten the washer from the back brake, but my solution to the problem is to hide it. And now I don't have a washer. Quite clever, really. This last problem I have here, which will be probably quite frustrating, I imagine. A bit of WD-40 might help. Yeah, lots of orange rust in there. It's in such a state, this bike. I will probably do. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is stick on this, and it has a, that's the limit screw, so it has a B tension screw. Now, I'm going to have to spend a few minutes staring at this trying to remember how it goes back together. You could say, why didn't you take photos of it? Well, the thing is, I've done this before, so I was kind of hoping that it'd be alright. Basically what I've done is I've done it wrong, so I've now got to pop this thing off. Ow. So, this is it. It's going to be it. It better be it. No, I thought I had it. I thought I had it so much there. Ah! Come on. Those threads are just chewed up so much. I don't think that's ever going to work. Oh, that's annoying. What a silly person I am. So, that's broken. It's broken. Is that in the right place? We're almost done at last. It's taken a very long time, indeed. Right. I suppose I have actually built a bike, which actually does take us a long time. Odds on the chain being too long are extremely high. Okay, that's it done. As you can see, that chain is way too long. I have reassembled the bike. The parts are all used up. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and suggest what you'd like to see reassembled next, or at some point in the relatively not too distant future.